All right, welcome back to another episode of Distance from Center. I'm Trent.
I'm Horton, and we just got done with the first pro tournament of the year. Exciting inaugural event for the new water ski pro tour organization, and Nate Smith won the men's slalom. Regina Jaquist won the women's slalom. But there's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of stories underneath that are kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because on the
kind
surface,
of leading.
that's almost like, well, yeah, probably, But I mean, let's just go straight into the men's. I mean, it was kind of like Mastercraft Pro at the end of last year, where there was, I think that one was a three-way runoff for first. Like at the end of all these rounds of skiing, and this was the same thing. It was a four-way tie for first place. Nate, Freddie, Will, and was it?
Cole.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was so. Wait, so it's Asher, Cole, Fred, and Smith. Make sure you said that right.
Crazy.
And what's interesting is, Cole almost won this event outright. He more or less hit four ball at 41 in the final. So if he'd been this much earlier and rounded four, he would have taken home the gold.
Yeah.
But
Wild.
he didn't, and so they had to go to that big runoff.
Which was awesome. Which is like, it's just the level of competition so good,
yes.
and it's so high is the crazy thing. That was that an 8-man final?
Yes.
Not 139 was missed. I mean, that's even that in itself is that's bordering unprecedented. It was awesome. It was crazy good to watch.
Right. And it's kind of another, like, people have been seeing Cole McCormick as the real deal for a little bit now, but this is like Cole McCormick almost won this event. So dude is really, really the real deal.
Yeah.
So what happened in the runoff is Cole did miss his 39. I imagine he was just worn out by that point. Willie got 2 at 41. This is out of skiing order, but this is placement order. Fred got 3 at 41, and Nate got 1 at 43.
Yep.
So, pretty much the guys you expect to be on that top of that podium and kind of in the order you kind of expect them. But let's roll back to the beginning of the day. Women's slalom. Allie Nicholson goes out, and first round runs her 38, and it comes back with a boat path monitoring system. I'm trying not to say SurePath because they're not the only system, but in this case it was SurePath.
But to be fair, SurePath was being used, so
right. And the boat path was out on cumulative at 5 ball. In direction of the 5 ball. Yeah.
It was out on cumulative.
It was out on cumulative as a 5 ball. So it was a positive cumulative, and so she received the mandatory reride. And when she came back through, I think she was just probably a little flustered. I mean, she's a pro, she's awesome, but unfortunately she only got 1.5. So this begins the conversation in a pro format, or in what format.
In what format?
Is this a good or a bad thing? I think you and I both are clearly huge proponents of this system.
I love this system.
But your words to me earlier today were, when you saw that, it sucked the air out of the room.
Yeah, it was that. So, and again, I love this system as a driver. I'm a senior driver. As a driver, I love this system. I turned off that tournament feeling like unfortunately something had been taken away from the tournament, not added. But because for the most part, I feel like these high ranking pro events, these big money tournaments, I don't really feel like the driving is an issue. I don't really feel like, for the most part, integrity of kind of the rules and da da da. I feel like it's I don't ever watch a pro event and be like, that driving looks suspect. But that being, again, I turned it off being a little bit conflicted. I'm like, I don't know, is this the right platform? Is this a better training tool than it is a tournament monitoring system? And again, and that's where it left me, was conflicted. I can't even tell you where I lie on this topic at this moment, because I felt like someone got kind of yanked out of the finals, and due to due to a rule that, and a new rule. But again, and you had said this earlier today, this was the first kick at it. So, I'm definitely not changing my mind on this, on the system. And I'm not, forming any hard line opinions. It was just, I was, for as big a proponent as I am of it, I found it interesting that I was like, conflicted. Is this really the right venue for this kind of monitoring system?
I agree. I'm super torn. As you know, and as everybody who's listened to what I've said and written the last number of years, I'm all about letter of the law, and I believe boat paths should be straight. But this was a dogfight between these girls. It's not like a rankings event. It's not like a time trial kind of event. And so, Allie got penalized for driver error. And I'm not saying the driving wasn't really good across the board.
This isn't awesome.
Criticism. Yeah. Not criticizing the driving, but at that one moment, that little bit, and I would propose that she's probably harder to drive. I propose that she's probably harder to drive than some of the men because she's so light. It's probably, it feels like the boat's floatier at that point. I don't know. But so
there was only a handful of rerides the whole tournament. I mean, I didn't watch every moment of the tournament. I think I saw 5. So
well, yeah. I cataloged a couple of them. I'm sure I didn't get all of them. Dane Meckler had a boat path deviation at 39 at 6 ball. So the boat was like at 21 centimeters at 6 ball. Got the re-ride, came back, and destroyed 39 the second time. Yeah. Good for Dane. Asher had one at 41 where he got in 2 and it was out. He came back and got 2.5. Yeah. So he got that lucky gift where he picked up a half a ball. I think JT had one at 35, and he was like, I'm John Travers, no problem, just shorten the rope. Yeah. He took the optional opt up, crushed 38, didn't impact him at all. So, and there might have been 1 or 2 others. So this impacted the show. It impacted the scores. Yeah. I want to call this growing pains.
Yeah. I think that's fair, and I think you said it best. It impacted the show, as throughout my whole career, that was always what we concerned ourselves the most with. We were always grateful for every tournament we had, but it was like, this too often it was lacking the show, and the entertainment value wasn't being put first and foremost. So this did interrupt the entertainment value a little bit, but again, like you said, growing pains. This was the first very publicized event that was using the system, so I'm definitely not going baby bathwater on this deal.
Right. And speaking of the show, I'm not sure I endorse what I'm about to say, but did these re-rides create a drama factor that's good for the show?
No,
I don't think so, but it's a worthy question.
Yeah.
No.
Well, no, it's a good question because for a moment I thought about posing the same one, but I'm like, I don't think so. I didn't add anything. But again, first kick at it, so we'll kind of see how this, moving forward, how this stacks up.
Right. So I think probably the next big story, and I'm just going to let you ramble on about this, is holy crap, yeah. Charlie Ross won at 41.
Awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. It was really, really good. It was it's not surprising just given, watching the way, these skiers have been trending in the last 5 years. They're getting better at a younger age, but it was just, this kid's 15. You look at him, he looks just like his dad, Drew Ross. It was just really, really cool to watch. And I think I've been telling a lot of people that I coach, like, just have a look at this, just go back and watch his tournament runs. And because you can really see that, there's an emphasis on base level fundamentals, like what needs to be done right, he does a pretty good job of, and you can, like, that's a classic skier to me that, like, you can tell he has not been overcoached, like he's got some quirkiness, and he's got, like, sometimes you'll see his body position and you're like, well, that's not right if you're only looking at the surface. So I guess my point is this kid's going to be scary good, because he's got a really natural approach to it. It's not, there's not a lot of, extraneous little movements for the sake of making the movements that most people think are right. It's a big picture, awesome kind of deal. And it was, that aside, it was kind of emotional, watching this little guy, like, take care of his business at the biggest stage he's been on yet. So it's going to be fun to watch, Charlie for the next 5 years. Ooh.
Oh yeah. So, I've heard this. So back to boat path monitoring systems, not to bring us back down, but I've heard this from other people, and I'm not sure I buy it. But there was a insinuation that boat path monitoring brought scores down in this event because the boat path is straighter. Do you want to address that?
No, I don't think I wouldn't say that's accurate at all.
Well, that's addressing it. Yeah.
41 is 41 was ran twice. I guess there was a lack of a plethora of 4 at 41s, I guess. But I mean, there was a heck of a lot of 3 at 41s. There was personal bests. Joel Pohl and Rob Hazelwood. Rob Hazelwood couldn't help but run 3 at 41 every single round. So there was a few surprising scores, but no, I don't think so. I don't, because I think drivers at that level, when they do get out of sync, it's not typically to the advantage of a skier at 39 or 41 off anyway. You end up feeling like you're kind of wrestling the driver. I most of these high scores by these guys would be driven with really, really good driving, meaning both rhythm and integrity to the center line, if you will. So I didn't think so. Did you feel like there was a bit of a hole in the scores?
I didn't think so, but I've heard it,
Yeah.
as I talk, call people around saying, hey, what do you think of the tournaments? That's something
Yeah.
I heard. And I disagree also. Or you and I agree.
Yeah.
So 2 more little things,
Yep.
and then we'll talk about next weekend. Interesting who was missing last weekend. Just noteworthy. Pegozzi, Nevu, Sasha, Whitney, Monavon weren't there. Kind of interesting. I hope we're going to see them next weekend at Picos. We're not going to get a webcast.
No.
We're
not going to see anything next weekend.
Well, I can see that. Very funny. Okay. Well, yeah. And then a pet peeve of mine, the last thing I want to cover, is Regina's score in the finals was 4 1/4 at 39, yet she skied back to the dock.
Oh.
I'm just going to leave that out there.
Yeah. That impossible 4 1/4? Is that?
Well, I think it's pretty darn tough to get a quarter buoy and ski away.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is physically impossible.
At 39.
Just going to let the folks at 39.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be hard to do at 32. You do it at 15.
Yeah, it'd be easy at 15.
Right.
What if you did an around the boat at 5-ball? What would that score be?
If you did an around, well, the boat has to stop, and I don't know.
Food for thought.
Yeah. All right.
But
so
no, great.
It
was a great tournament. I mean, what an exciting first knock at this new Pro Tour alliance that they have formulated, and so now there's just 3 weekends in a row of pro skiers trying to qualify for Masters.
Right.
And just record tournaments.
And my absolutely last thing to say about Swiss Pro is that the webcast was awesome as
Incredible.
ever. It went as smooth as a freshly buttered banister.
Huh. I haven't heard that one, but it was awesome. It was incredible. It's just making me I'm already a fan. It's making me a super fan.
Absolutely. All right. That's all I got. You got anything else, Trent?
No, we'll be back. We're going to cover these Masters qualifiers, as much as they're tucked away and out of view, and for most people, they'll kind of know who's skiing at the Masters when the Masters starts. But we're going to cover it just because it's unprecedented, and there's probably going to be some interesting storylines.
For sure. All right. Thank you, folks.
Thanks.